Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Michelle's vlog. And at the moment, what we're doing with her training, it's a little more simple than we were doing on traditional conjugate. We're coming in, we're hitting a training max on the big lift of the day, and so we have 2 bench days and then 2 squat and deadlift days. So 4 days total, it's upper lower. I'm prescribing her training maxes. She doesn't pick her ramp ups on any of that. I give her the numbers of what we're going to lift, and I will slowly bring those up over time while keeping them just light enough to be training maxes. And we'll start seeing PRs on these pretty soon. And then outside of that, we're only focusing on general overall hypertrophy with a slight emphasis towards her weak links, right? We're bringing up the weak links. And in this case, there are things like pecs, hamstrings, so on and so forth. So what we're doing for supplemental work here, because she did a 160 bench press, and we're trying to keep all of these training maxes meet legal. We want every single one of them to be able to pass in competition. So we want competition depths, we want pauses, no hinching on deadlifts, so on and so forth. All right, so what we're doing after that, we do sets of 10 on the pause bench. Now, because pecs are a limiting factor for her, we are doing 5 sets of that each time instead of something like 3. Most of the exercises we're doing around 3 sets, but the pause benching, I'm having her do 5 sets, mainly because her pecs need the extra work. Okay, and to be honest, I should consider doing that same thing myself. A lot of times I do things with my clients that I know I should do for myself that I don't always do. But now that I mention it, it's probably not a bad idea. So other work that we do on this day, we do chin-ups, we do JM presses. And again, this is one reason I don't spend a lot of time worried about our triceps these days. Look how strong she is on a JM press. All right, now note there are plates on the bar, but that is a standard 45-pound barbell. That's all tricep. That's all tricep. She does just about the strictest JM press you could do. It's almost a skull crusher. All right, moving that type of weight. All right, her triceps are strong enough to bench a lot more than she's benching. Just, we got to build her pecs up. Her lats are strong enough too. Notice the chin up and pull up strength. We still train those triceps a little bit, but we do more total volume for the pectorals. All right, and then of course we do some lateral raises just to finish up her shoulder girdle, to continue to get her thicker up top, with an easy to recover from exercise. And again, I would count something like a lateral raise almost as just general hypertrophy. It's not necessarily always specific to our powerlifting. In some cases it can be. It's just general hypertrophy for some of the much larger muscles that might need a little more work. Mainly the whole shoulder girdle. People forget the deltoid is the largest muscle in the upper body by a pretty substantial margin, according to all the research we have on cadavers. All right, lower days, we start off with back squat. That's a 270-pound back squat. All right, we moved it up this week. Notice that smile she has because she knows that feels easy. She only hit a 275 recently. All right, the 270 that she's even doing there for a training max, she hadn't hit that until just a few weeks ago, ever. And her best after was in 275. So for us to be coming and doing it as a training max, when it's a lift that, a month ago she had never touched, she's pretty happy about. Same thing there. See that smile? That's a 325 deadlift. It's a little heavier than she pulled at her last meet. Okay, and she broke a state record for her class. And that's definitely a training max. You could watch that lift and you know she's got a few pounds still left in the tank. All right, accessory work. This is all very basic. We do a barbell hip thrust. Again, note she's not playing around with only 100 pounds here. Right, we do sets of 10 with this. Full range of motion. Off the floor every rep. Drive it up. All right. And everything else is almost just kind of machines. Well, technically the GHR is, but it's really a body weight exercise. We do this. We do single leg presses. Something I've really become a fan of. I never used to do these myself. And in fact, since I started prescribing this, I haven't been in a gym with a leg press. But what I find that for a lot of my lifters, I've become a big fan of this exercise. I'm a big fan of the single leg press. The reason being, I can get sometimes better range of motion on this depending upon the slide. We can do isolateral work to where we don't have to load the slide up. Now, that's one of the biggest problems with the leg press. And I'm not talking about the ego lifting. I'm talking about people who have a strength base. Okay, you take any man who can squat 500 plus pounds, a real 500 plus pound squat, and they use both legs on a 45-degree leg press. You really think 1,000 pounds is a heavy weight for them? No, it's not. That's like 20 plus rep sets, maybe 30 plus rep sets. That's not heavy. They got to load a lot of weight on there. 1,000 pounds doesn't cut it. All right, that's a ton of work loading and unloading plates. You know, and you look at with her in her case, she's having to load and unload a bench press, a squat, a deadlift, not a bench press on this day, right? She's got to load and unload that hip thrust. Her having to do all these exercises. The last thing she wants to do is load 7, 8, 10, 12 plates onto that leg press, and then have to unload them again. Just do single leg. Saves us a lot of time, saves a lot of hassle. Plus, it removes the tendency to ego lift because we turned it into a single leg exercise. All right, it's easier to get people into that mindset instead of just, oh, let's move as much weight as possible. It'll keep them more in that mindset because it's a little more humbling. Right. Then we do, of course, glute ham raises and reverse hyperextensions. These are mainstays for me. I attribute these two lifts to most of my deadlift strength, right? These two exercises. I prescribe them heavily. Notice from this angle the glute development compared to, go back 6 months ago, go back 8 months ago in her earlier vlogs, right? Go back and look at them and compare the glute development, that posterior chain development in general, but the glutes, they are noticeably more developed. All right, as a power lifter, that is invaluable. Okay, we're going to set aside the fact that a lot of women really want to build their glutes for aesthetic purposes, because in this case, she's an athlete. She cares about the performance component of it. It matters a lot for our sport. It matters big time. And we're stacking that muscle on where she needs it. Okay, we're stacking it on, and we're getting stronger. It's paying off now. We're really seeing that pay off. But we can look at where she's gained muscle. She's gained a lot of muscle. All right, she's gained a lot of muscle since I've brought her onto the team. You see those glutes bigger. Look at the shoulder. The shoulders are bigger. All right. We get thicker. We have to. All right. Then we finish up the week by repeating the same stuff. All right. So we do all the same movements, and we actually replicate those training maxes again week to week. But they're looking real clean here at the end. Watch this squat. Watch this deadlift. Okay. These are not hard for her. She's not struggling with these. They're heavy. They're well above 90% of her max. But they're not taking 100%. These are lifts that 3-4 months ago we were just talking about. Oh, we need to get to. We want to eventually reach these. They're training maxes now. She keeps moving forward. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.